years, the National
Bar
Association
That is
was here
correct.
as well.
I went down on Saturday night and had a great time.
Oh, wow, look at you,
Yes,
rubbing
sir.
elbows with the attorneys.
Well, you know, what can I say? We get around. But we have a great show tonight. I hope that everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday. We have some great lineups for you tonight. We're going to take a quick break, and I promise you, Samantha and I'll be right back. Stay there. You're watching Stan Watson Show. Stan Watson Show. I'm your host, Stan Watson, along with my lovely co-host again, Miss Samantha Caldwell. I'm ready to go to work. What about you?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Fantastic Tuesday. Let's go to work. Our first guest is Miss Stephanie Van Parys. She's the executive director for the Wylde Center. Welcome to the Stan Watson Show.
Well, thank you for having me.
And this is your first time on the show, I
That's
understand.
right.
And you're at the Wylde Center.
That's right.
And what is the Wylde Center?
The Wylde Center is an environmental education organization that's located in Decatur. We work in Decatur and Atlanta.
Okay.
Awesome.
And what do you do to tell
All
our
right,
listeners?
so what do
our,
we do?
our listeners are like, what does she do? And I have to say,
Unbated breath as
yeah,
well.
Yeah. And before we go any further, she and Samantha had this thing about the red dress. So watch the red dress tonight.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
All right, so I'm the executive director over at the Wylde Center.
Sure.
Okay.
It was started in 1997
Okay.
as a result of a concern that the children in the community were not having an opportunity to get out into the garden to find out about the environment and also how to use what their produce from the garden in a healthy way to make them healthier people.
Okay, so
Awesome.
kind of gardening and almost back to nature. So
That's
you get them
right.
out of the classrooms and get them out into the dirt. And so how did it start? I mean, did somebody thought that the kids were just cooped up in school or not doing enough in the environment?
It was actually the woman who started it. Her name is Sally Wylde, thus the Wylde Center. So
Okay.
W-Y-L-D-E.
Got it.
And she was here for seminary and felt like she was in seminary and she really needed something, a real project. And so right down the street was this garden that a man was growing basil at. And so they had a conversation and she just felt that there really was just a lack of opportunity for the children that lived in that neighborhood to have opportunities to get out into the garden like she did when she was a child with her grandmother. And she felt that that kind of education that she had made her more of an environmental steward.
Okay.
And she really felt that if you don't get the children out into the garden, into nature, into a place where they feel safe and they're having a great education and it's fun, they, when they're adults, will not make good choices about the food that they eat or the choices that they make that affect the environment. So
Awesome.
that was really what it was driving her.
So how many children are you impacting, let's say on an annual basis, with this program?
So over the last school year, 2013 to 2014 May, we had over 15,000 interactions with students.
15,000. This is
Yes.
field trips or?
Field trips
Okay.
to our sites, so we have
Okay.
4 sites.
Okay.
Field trips to our sites, and also we have programs that we run, a farm-to-school program that we run in the Decatur City Schools, and we
So
also...
where you go to the school sometimes?
That's right.
Okay.
We work in the schools with the students multiple times with students. We work with the Decatur Housing Authority with students and seniors and families.
Okay.
And then we also are working at Whiteford Elementary in Edgewood.
Right, that's
Wow.
right there, Atlanta and the Cab kind of.
Yeah.
So what types of vegetables or what are you growing? What do kids like to get into? I know you said you've been around since '97. Now you
Right.
probably have an idea. Well, they're really going to like this.
Okay, so the biggest surprise was, so every year we do about 2 to 3 taste tests where the vegetables are grown in the school gardens. And then over a course of a couple days, those vegetables are served to every child in the school. Not on the line, but separately as a
Okay.
sample.
And this is in the Decatur school system?
This is in the Decatur school
Okay, all right,
system.
okay.
So the first one that we tried was kale. And one of the
Oh,
principals
yeah.
said, I don't think so. I don't think kids are going to go for this kale. They were back for seconds and thirds and fourths and
Like
fifths. So they
kale.
love
I
kale.
love kale
I like
myself.
kale too, but
Yeah.
can you imagine a child like broccoli?
Yeah.
You know, you said kale now?
Yes,
Okay.
so
they
kale.
loved it, okay.
So then next time we planted peas, sweet peas, and the kids said, well, this is fun, but where's the kale?
Yeah.
So there you go. But they love sugar snap peas.
Wow.
They love pulling carrots out of the ground, of course.
Okay.
They like
Okay.
eating lettuce. They like eating the kale. What they're doing is they're going out and they're eating those vegetables in the garden. And then what the idea is that when they're served on the line, because schools are making a big investment on putting these fresh vegetables on the table, you don't want the children to throw them away.
Right.
So
Right,
we're introducing
exactly.
to them in a fun way.
This sounds awesome.
Awesome,
So
yeah.
that the center, how many acres of land do you have?
We manage about 5 acres of land over 4 gardens. So
Wow.
3 of our gardens are in DeKalb County, and one of them's in Fulton.
Now, the age group, so I know you're dealing with kids, but I'm assuming starting early is the key.
Yeah.
What is the youngest age group that you're targeting with this vegetable introduction?
Pre-K.
Oh,
Pre-K.
wow.
So, yeah, so we're College Heights
Okay.
Early Learning Center
Getting
in
their hands
Decatur.
dirty in pre-K.
Pre-K.
Okay.
They're
all right.
one of the most enthusiastic groups of, they're willing to, and they make posters and little TV shorts, and then it goes from, then of course we go into the elementary school. In Atlanta, we're working starting with kindergarten.
Wow.
Well, that's
That's
a vast
good.
range. You said
Yeah.
pre-K, and then you also mentioned earlier in dialogue that it was seniors involved. How are the seniors involved?
All right, so with the Decatur Housing Authority, we have a program there, and we have been working with the Decatur Housing Authority about 4 years. And a couple years ago, they came to us. They built a new building for the seniors, the Oliver House.
Okay.
And they included a garden on site, and they said, we would love for you to start a garden club with our seniors.
garden
Oh,
club.
that's good.
Yeah. So they go, our educators work with the seniors, and we also partner with a women's chef group called Les Dames d'Escoffier. They are an international group.
Oh, really?
They have an Atlanta chapter. And
Okay.
so they work with the seniors about every couple of weeks, and they have cooking sessions with them and how to use that fresh produce
Sounds
to
so
have their
upscale.
gardens.
Did you hear that?
Yes,
Okay.
Madame
Yeah.
Sofia.
Yeah, I
Right,
know,
that's
and
it.
I'm surprised I was able to say it, but I did.
Sarah,
You did
Sarah. Okay,
so
right.
well.
I've been
though.
practicing.
Well, excellent, excellent. Now, you're teaching kids, you're teaching seniors. Do you have any other partners like maybe 4-H, Future Business Leagues of America, University of Georgia, any schools?
So we have worked not so much with the University of Georgia just
Okay.
because of the distance, you know.
Okay.
We have done partnerships with the Extension Service.
Right.
So we have DeKalb Master Gardeners
Okay.
on site
Oh, yeah.
that work with us. We partner with the Decatur Housing Authority. We partner with the DeKalb Library. We'll offer some free classes that we do through the DeKalb system. And mostly with students in the Decatur High School, so culinary mostly, yeah.
Well, you do a lot. Seem like you have a lot of partners. What about Home Depot or Lowe's or somebody? They help you with anything?
Yeah.
Well, they'll donate.
Oh, they will know. See, I knew there's some other partners were around. Okay.
yeah.
They will donate.
Yeah.
Now, is your background in gardening or
I
horticulture?
have a
or
degree in horticulture from
Okay.
the University
Okay.
of Georgia.
Okay.
I
Yes.
was
that
just
makes,
wondering how you got
that makes
your-
sense, because I
Yeah.
was trying to think the red dress. How does that go with the gardening? I don't know.
right? I didn't want to show up in my overalls
Okay,
and
okay.
dinners and stuff, but sometimes when you get to the executive director level, you have to let go of the overalls, and I have a staff, so
you-
they are the gardeners.
You have a staff now,
Yeah.
so they are the gardeners.
You clean up well. You clean up
yeah,
well.
well, I garden at home.
Talk about some of the other things that you grow in the garden and using the kids, especially teaching them about how you set up your I guess fertilizing, the different roles and how you have to do segments of the garden. Talk a little bit about that.
So the way that we set up the gardens, we use a lot of square foot gardening
Okay.
methods.
Okay.
The way that we use the space in those plots, because most plots are about 4
Because you
by 8
said you had 5
feet.
acres, right?
Well, yeah. So
Right.
our 4 gardens are not all growing vegetables.
Okay.
Oh,
So each one of them has a little different, a different focus. So the Oakhurst Garden is our original garden. That's the one that's in the Oakhurst neighborhood in
Yes,
Decatur.
yes,
And that one has a combination of vegetable plots that people rent. It has a vegetable garden that is run by our gardener. We have a greenhouse. We have a children's play area. There's several areas that people can have events, special event rentals,
Oh,
and it has
that's
a building
good.
on site. And then you go down the street to Sugar Creek, and that's an edible garden that we
Where's
have.
Sugar Creek?
So Sugar Creek is right at the corner of 2nd Avenue and East Lake.
Okay, gotcha.
Oakhurst
Okay.
Presbyterian.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so back there, that's City of Decatur land that we're gardening on, and that's an edible landscape. So from
Okay.
trees to perennials to annuals.
Wow.
So you better go by there and get some of that
eat-
kale.
edible. She said
Yeah,
edible.
yeah, edible. And get some of the
she-
kale too. Seems like they do a lot with kale.
They do. We do a lot with kale, and so there's often U-picks at Sugar Creek where we invite the community to come and do U-picks.
Okay,
So then down
you
the
pick their own fruits and vegetables, whatever they need to.
Wow,
Okay.
that's nice.
then down the street we have Hawk Hollow, and that's in Kirkwood. So it's right over the Decatur line in Atlanta. That's going to be
What
more
an
of
urban
a
setting. I mean, this
yes,
for
it is
gardening.
definitely an urban
Yes,
setting.
yes, for gardening. Okay.
And that one is native restoration. So
Oh.
native plants, really planting for the birds, and a lot of science education there.
Okay.
And Edgewood is a learning garden. edible butterflies. It's being rebuilt right now with a big renovation.
Wow.
How do students get in touch with you to come on field trips?
They're teachers.
Their
They know
teachers
about
call-
us.
They know about you.
Okay.
Well, we have to
Yeah.
get involved in that. I like what you're doing. And the last one is a farmer's question. I'm just a country guy from
Yeah,
Memphis. How do you rotate your crops, so to speak? You know, one
Here,
season
one
you
year
do
you do this,
kale,
and then the next season, I'm from Oklahoma, so
Okay,
I know
right,
this
okay.
stuff too.
All right, so, okay, all right. Tell us how you do that.
Well, sometimes what we do is between a heavy, nitrogen-loving crop like tomatoes or
Okay.
broccoli, we'll do a cover crop. So something like clover, we'll put clover in that refreshes the soil.
Hello.
Okay.
So
She
we
did.
like
Yeah,
to,
we know
this
follow.
stuff.
She did not think I knew all that. Okay, all right.
But that's what we do. So we do practice great organic
Okay.
gardening methods.
Oh, that's awesome.
To replenish the soil.
And she said she's from Oklahoma, so she knows a little bit
Yes,
about
I
farming as
know
well.
a little bit about it myself.
Good. Good.
Now, what else can you offer our viewing audience? The garden is there. Are there tours for, I think you said native plants, native species? What else can they see in the garden at the
So
Wylde Center?
The gardens are free and open to the public every day.
Want them to know that.
Okay.
So they're free and open to the public every day, sunrise to sunset. The Oakhurst Garden from March until June, and then September through October, we have a self-service plant sale where people can come and there's a great diverse selection of plants that they can choose from, and they can check out themselves. So that's a lot of people come there for some different types of plants to grow at home. We have a lot of volunteers, over 250 at least
Oh my
a
goodness.
year
Wow.
that come to all of our gardens to volunteer. So they can volunteer. We have classes.
Okay.
There is a fee for the classes. For example, I'm teaching a Start Your Vegetables from Seed class on the 16th.
Vegetables from
Okay.
the
Seed.
seed. From the seed. I thought you said from the seed. I like, seaweed, what
They
we
grow
doing here?
vegetables in
from
the
That's
seed.
really
I like,
complicated. But we,
aquaculture.
yeah, we turn greenhouses into little, milk jugs into little greenhouses.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I've
Got
done
it, got it.
that.
So that's fun.
That's
Okay, so
cool.
we've
That's a
done
cool
that at school
project.
as well.
Yeah.
The last great question I have to ask before we let you go is that, did you bring us any
Did you bring us anything?
Okay.
Come on.
Move right along.
All
Okay.
right, that was
I was about to give her an
a
extra
huge
5
silence
minutes,
there.
okay?
I
Okay.
had tomatoes at home. I wish I'd brought. They would have
Okay.
matched my dress.
There you go.
We were looking
Fashion
to bring the
and
vegetables,
vegetables.
The kale, tomatoes, put them right here in the
okay,
front, and
yeah.
the staff and all the camera people were saying, okay, this is
Well,
great.
this is her first time.
It
Okay.
is.
So
And
she
you know what?
doesn't
Next
know.
time, I will not forget.
Okay.
I will
Yeah, there
have
you
what
go.
you want over here.
We have to make sure that our viewing audience that's watching tonight can get information about the Wylde Center. So if you look right here and tell them how they can get in touch with you and where you're located.
So the Wylde Center is located in the Oakhurst neighborhood of Decatur. The address is 435 Oakview Road, Decatur, Georgia, 330. And the website is wyldecenter.org.
Excellent. Ms. Wylde, Ms. Van Parys,
fine.
thank you for coming by from the Wylde Center
Yes.
and being with Samantha and I. We enjoyed it and
Yes.
really look forward to coming out and seeing you pretty soon.
Well, good. Well, you guys ask great questions.
Okay, well, great. We're going to take a break. Who we have coming up when we come
You
back?
know what? We've got Reverend Jared Sawyer coming up next.
He is a nice little preacher there. Okay.
Yes, he is.
Well, stay right there. We'll be right back. We'll be right back?
We will.
Okay. Stay there. We'll be right back.